Today I present to you 10 fragrances you should really consider trying. Some of these maybe you've never heard about, or some of these maybe you have heard about but you just kind of written them off. For whatever reason it may be in your head, maybe thinking, oh, it might be generic or boring, or maybe it's too expensive or whatever. We all do that, right? We'll all see a fragrance and we'll see it getting some talk and we'll kind of think, okay, I kind of want to try it, but then you end up just not really getting around to it and you kind of end up forgetting about it. Then come to find out you actually try that fragrance and it becomes one of your favorites. This is something that I've experienced multiple times, and I've really been trying to get better at trying things when I have any sort of interest in them, because those fragrances I just had a little bit of interest in ended up becoming ones I really enjoyed once I tried them. So today I have 10 of those fragrances for you. Maybe if these have been on your list to try and you haven't done it yet, it'll give you that little bit of motivation and encouragement to go ahead and give these a shot. In my opinion, all the ones in this list are fantastic scents that are definitely worth trying out, regardless of if you're new to collecting or if you've been collecting for a long time. So if you like videos like this, make sure you like the video down below and get subscribed to the channel. I will also provide links to all of these fragrances down below in the description to discount websites. If you want to pick them up, check out those links for the best prices you can get these at. Let's go and jump right into this. First up, we have Rochas Moustache EDP. This is a 2018 release. This is one that I have featured in my $1,000 fragrance haul selected by you guys. This is a pretty highly outvoted comment, which I'm glad it was, because this smells amazing. For those of you who are unaware, it gets you in that YSL Tuxedo ballpark. That's a very expensive fragrance from their more expensive line. And this one gets you pretty similar without having to pay that price tag. This one's not 100% like Tuxedo. It's got its differences, but it has more similarities than differences. So if you want Tuxedo and you don't want to pay the price, but you also don't want to go with a clone, which perhaps maybe not as high of quality, you could go for this one. It's got great quality, really good performance. Like, this lasts on skin a long time, and it just smells great. It smells unique, and it's perfect for fall and winter months, which we have coming up. Up next, we have Mancera Soleil d'Italie. This is a summery scent from Mancera. They seem to do those pretty well. Typically, when you come to think of Mancera, you think of their oud fragrances and heavier, sweeter scents, a lot of which can be a bit challenging and daring to pull off, but they do also dabble in making citrus scents and playing with, lighter notes for summertime. This being one of those fragrances, and it's a really good one. It's not my favorite in terms of their citruses. Mancera Sicily, that's probably going to be one of my favorites, but I do also really like Soleil d'Italie. This one is very nice and pleasant, and it's got that Mancera performance to back it up. Just spraying it up in the air, it just smells so nice and pleasant. It's got great quality, and it's a very well composed scent. Again, great for summertime. We still have a little bit of summer left here, another month or so to really break this one out and wear it. So again, if this is one where you've been wanting to pick it up, now's the time to do it. It is on discounters. I will link it down below. This one was one I was tossing around for a while. A few subscribers were actually recommending me to go ahead and pick it up, and I'm glad I did. It's a really enjoyable scent if you're into citrus fragrances. Following that, we have Mercedes-Benz Club Black. Unfortunately, this one, I believe, has been discontinued. It's getting hard to find. The place I found it on was FragranceBuy.ca. They're a great discounter based out of Canada. I've worked with them in the past on a few videos. I shop with them semi-regularly. They have great prices, and they tend to get these discontinued fragrances in. They also tend to have a lot of the new fragrance releases quicker than other discounters. So FragranceBuy.ca is where I got this one. They have it at a great price, and it's a beautiful scent. It's this vanilla benzoin-based scent. Very sweet, this almost boozy vanilla, and it's great. If you are a vanilla lover like myself, this is going to be your dream fragrance. It's a Mercedes-Benz fragrance, but it has great quality and pretty respectable performance as well. Again, if it is true that it is discontinued, I don't know why they would do that. It's just such a nice smelling scent. Probably does cater more to the fragrance enthusiast rather than your typical consumer, which maybe is why they would discontinue it, but it's a great scent. Definitely don't wait around on this one. If you can secure a bottle of this one, I highly recommend you do so. I believe Ashton from Gent Scents actually talked about this one in a recent video, and it's kind of what inspired me to go ahead and pick it up, and I gotta say, it's incredible stuff. Following that, we have Armani Stronger With You Freeze. the new release from Armani in their Stronger With You line. I've already done a review on this one. You can check that out if you want to hear my full rundown on it, but to just kind of give you a brief here, it's a fresher version of Stronger With You, but it's still not a freshie, okay? So if you're expecting like a super citrus heavy, like summer version of the scent, this is not going to be it. It's still sweet, but it does still nod back to that Stronger With You DNA quite a bit. I do really like it. It's not going to be my favorite. You know, I'm still going to like Intensely the most. That's going to be my favorite scent because that really beefs up that performance, which I had issues with. But this one is a nice scent if you simply just want a lighter version of that DNA. If you're kind of in the mood for something lighter, perhaps maybe in the spring or kind of early fall when it's still a bit warm, you can wear this one. And then once you get into the colder weather, fall, winter, when it's really getting cold, you can go for Intensely or the original. But this one is nice. I do recommend you give it a shot if you are a fan of the Stronger With You series. Moving along, we have 1 Million Lucky by Paco Rabanne. This is one that I have come around to now that I've secured a bottle, and I've been testing it more and more and also comparing it to the other 1 Million flankers that I've been picking up. This is a fruity, sweet scent, getting a lot of almond from this one and a very, very fruity, bright, fresh opening. Eventually that will transition and dry down into a sweeter, kind of like nutty fragrance composition. It does smell really nice. There's no denying that. It's got really good performance and great mass appeal. I mean, it's a 1 million flanker. That's what you would expect. Is it my favorite? It's not going to be my favorite, but I do enjoy it. 1 million Privé is probably going to be my favorite, and that one's really kind of a work of art, honestly, and it's crazy that that one fits into the 1 million lineup because it is so good. I really think they could have taken that, bottled it into a whole different scent and released it, and it would have done much better. I mean, it did do well. A lot of people give it the praise it deserves, but I think being that it is still a 1 million flanker, some people write it off. 1 Million Lucky is nice for what it is. It smells great, and it's definitely worth trying if you're kind of on the fence and you know you're into the other 1 million flankers. Following that, we have Jean Paul Gaultier Ultra Male, another sweet fragrance bomb. This one is not going to be for everyone in the fact that, yes, it is very sweet. This one utilizes pear, vanilla, this nice like spicy kick in the opening, drying down to a very warm sweetness. The pear is what really sets this one off and makes it different and just makes it kind of exciting and refreshing. Again, very, very sweet. This is probably, you know, now that I think about it, one of the sweetest fragrances that I own. Like, this stuff is extremely sweet. More so than your typical sweet fragrances, because that's kind of a genre. Typically you have fresh and sweet, and then everything fits in between there. So, you know, this one is on the very, 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 very sweet end of things. I'm just trying to stress that to you in case you decide to blind buy this one. Be careful. If you're not into sweet stuff and you haven't experimented with too many sweet fragrances, might want to hold back. But if you are into sweeter winter fragrances and you haven't tried this one yet, I seriously recommend you do. I honestly, guys, I love it. And this is coming from someone who has a lot of niche fragrances, a lot of, you know, Dior's and Chanel's, other higher end designer fragrances. And I don't say that to sound like I'm bragging. I say that because I don't want you to write this one off, because you may hear like niche snobs or whatever think that, you know, this fragrance sucks. I have plenty of other fragrances which are much more unique and better quality and overall to be considered better than this one, but I still really like the scent and I still really do appreciate it. So definitely give this one a shot if you are kind of on the fence. Speaking of a niche fragrance, we have Amouage Portrayal. This one is a very nice masculine violet leaf scent. Violet leaf and vetiver are the main players here, and this is a niche scent. Like I mentioned, it kind of fits into something like Dior Fahrenheit and, you know, something along those lines from the violet. It's got quite a bit of vetiver. You can compare it to some other vetiver fragrances, but it is a more niche version of that. The comparison kind of reminds me of Reflection Man versus the original Le Male. Right? There's, you know, it's kind of almost stretching it a little bit to say they're similar. Reflection Man is much more niche. It's much better quality. And I find that to be the same thing here with this one. This is a more niche version, more refined, and just different than something like Dior Fahrenheit. But to each their own. You can form your own opinion when you decide to pick this one up. It is a nice scent. Again, you got to be into the masculine vetivers and just something a little bit different to enjoy this one. But if you are on the fence and you're into that sort of thing, give it a shot. I think it's pretty good. Moving along, we have Carven Low Intense, one that I really do not hear talked about, but is a very different scent. This is not something I've smelled before. It's like citrus, herbal type of thing going on, a little bit sweet. It's different for sure, but that's refreshing and that's pretty cool. This is something that you can reach for when you just want to stand out a little bit and you kind of want to switch it up. Following that, we have Calvin Klein Euphoria Intense, and honestly, a great release from Calvin Klein. It's one of their sweeter offerings, and it has good performance. It's got oud, I believe, or maybe I'm thinking that of another Calvin Klein, but I think this might have oud in it, at least listed as a note. If it does, I don't get any of it. Again, I could think of that from something else, but I don't get any oud. It's a sweeter fragrance with a lot of depth, but it also still is mass appealing and wearable. So it'll kind of appeal to a larger audience. If you are someone who kind of is dabbling with sweeter fragrances for the first time, you could start off with something cheap like Euphoria Intense. Kind of will give you an idea of the depth and the different types of notes that are used. Finally, to end this video, we have Givenchy Gentleman EDP. I was on the fence for this fragrance for a long time. You know, my thought process was I have a few other iris-based fragrances, which this one gets compared to, so why do I need this one? But eventually, I pulled the trigger on it and I haven't looked back. I love this one. I still find use for it, even though I have others, and it's one that I just find myself craving and reaching for a lot in the fall and winter time. It's a great scent at about $50. Great quality, great performance. Givenchy Gentleman EDP. Even if you have others that may be similar to it, give this one a shot anyway if you're into this sort of thing. It might really surprise you. So guys, that was going to do it for me. That was 10 great fragrances that you should just consider trying. If you've been on the edge, on the fence a little bit, maybe this video will help push you to kind of go ahead and try these scents because they are great and definitely worth a shot. Again, if you are interested, links to these will be down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow night with another one. Take care.